Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited about today's video because I'm going to be sharing ways to make money while being a full-time traveler. That doesn't include being a digital nomad or an influencer or anything like that. There's going to be ways that you possibly could earn money in your pocket at the end of each day. So I've been traveling full-time for about 4 years now, and whenever I started, I didn't really know how to make money on the road. I did have like a few jobs or gigs that I was doing, but it wasn't until years later that really everything started falling in place. And the reason why I'm so excited to share this video with you guys is because I want you guys to see how easy it is to make money from literally anywhere, and maybe show you guys that it's not so scary to live as a full-time traveler, because I think that one thing that holds a lot of people back is that they don't know how to make money and they don't know where the next paycheck is coming from, so it can be a little bit nerve-wracking having that insecurity of not knowing how to make money. So maybe this video will give you a little bit of a different perspective and give you some ideas of jobs that you can do while you're on the road. So my first 2 years, I really didn't know a whole lot. And so I signed up for DoorDash and was working WAG, which is a dog walking app. And I'd say gigs are a good way if you have a vehicle and are wanting to live like the van life or live out of your car or whatever. Gigs are a good way to go. Of course, you do have to pay for gas mileage, but you make pretty good money, and a lot of the times you can just cash out at the end of the day. So I have worked for DoorDash and then WAG, and then I actually have like referral codes for those as well. So if you sign up for WAG, you'll get $50 automatically for your first walk if you use my referral code, as well as you'll be helping me out by giving me $50 too. But that also gives you like a little bit of cushion. They do charge you, I think, $30 for your background check, but you walk one dog and you automatically make it back, plus some, because you'll be getting that $50 bonus. But also through walking WAG, I have made other contacts and even spent an entire summer in Austin watching this girl's dog that I met on the road, and that was a lot of fun. I spent like 10 weeks living in her apartment taking care of her dog. So like starting off doing these like gigs can also turn into more like full-time or more like adventurous jobs as well. And now I've walked dogs for people that, you know, I've barely known, or people I've met while traveling and stuff. And so that has been a really nice stepping stone to kind of like checking out new cities and going and watching people's dogs while they're on vacation and stuff. Some other gig work apps that you can get is Instacart is a good one, because I know a lot of people who travel full-time and use Instacart. I think it's one of the more higher paying jobs, so you might want to look into that. I have not worked for Instacart, but I have heard good things. And TrustedHouseSitters.com is kind of the same as WAG, except for not only are you maybe watching people's dogs, but you're also house sitting for them while they're on vacation, which that can be anywhere in the world. So that's not just restricted to the United States. You could go abroad and watch someone's house for them while they are on vacation, and then you also get a little vacation. I'm not exactly sure how much you make. It might just be a volunteer, or like, you know, them giving you a place to stay in return for you getting to go and travel to them or whatever. And then I do know that there is a membership fee. I'm not really sure how much it is, but honestly I think that it would probably be worth it, just to have the connections that you get on that website. Again, that was TrustedHouseSitters.com. So let's see. Another way that I've made money is I started an Etsy page, and my Etsy doesn't make as much money as I do on in-person sales, but I'm a watercolor artist and I'm a jewelry maker. If you're interested in what I've doing with my Etsy shop, you're more than welcome to go check it out. I'm on Etsy as just Wander with Brittany. You can find me on all platforms like that. But whenever I work craft shows, I basically can work anywhere in the country, and I just Either find out locally, like on flyers or stuff, about the craft shows, or sometimes I will join Facebook groups for local places and see what kind of art and craft fairs that are going on there. And then usually there's like a small fee, maybe like $20. The most I've ever paid was $35. But that's not bad whenever you're walking away with several $100s at the end of the day. And I like doing that better than the online sales, because then I get to actually meet people, tell them my story, be more personable. Like, I've made friends that way, and it's just a really good way to get your art out there if you are an artist. You have to get past the fear of selling in person. But I mean, whenever you're selling your art, you're selling your soul, you know, not like selling your soul to work, but more like you're giving a piece of your soul into the world. And I really cherish that, and it's really nice to know that people all over the country like have my art in their rooms, or they're wearing my bracelets around and stuff. So it's just a really exciting feeling. But that is one way that you can make pretty good money, is just by making art and selling it. And again, like Facebook, if you're gonna hear me talk about Facebook a little bit here, and I used to hate Facebook, but the groups are amazing. There are artist groups where you can sell your art. Like, there are nomad groups where you can, like, you know, hang out with other nomads and stuff. And there are even like job boards on Facebook just dedicated to people who are full-time travelers. So I know that Facebook is like kind of getting outdated, I feel like, or at least people like in my generation don't really like it. But the Facebook groups are very helpful in terms of connecting with people who are living the same kind of lifestyle as you. So this last year, I mostly traveled just working Craigslist gigs. So Craigslist has a section just for gigs, and I've worked so many different things. One of my favorites was I actually worked on a vineyard that I found off Craigslist gigs. They let me stay there for a few weeks in my van, and in return, like, they paid me to like come out and harvest grapes for, I don't know, a couple weeks. And that was a really cool experience. They even let me like enter their home to use their shower, and really like pampered me while I was out there, and I really appreciate that experience. But Craigslist gigs also has like, I don't know, I did tree work one time where I was like hauling trees that were being cut down into like a chipper. There's like a lot of like manual labor, stuff like that on there, like building fences, yard work. You don't even have to have your own tools, just show up, like they'll give you everything that you need. And then that also gives you a way to grow your experiences and the things that you are qualified to do. I even had a really good gig where I was painting Christmas lights over the holiday, and they let me stay in the back of the warehouse, like in my van. I just parked in the back and basically lived back there for like 2 weeks. And a lot of these jobs pay like $20 an hour, which is the most money I've ever made, and which is nice because my van was a gas hog. But yeah, so they pay really well, and you get to learn a lot and experience new things. And it's also a really great way to meet people, because you don't always meet a lot of people while you're living on the road, especially if you're anything like me, and I'd much prefer to be in the backcountry. And so what I would do was work Craigslist gigs for a couple of weeks, or maybe like a week or something, and then go and camp for a while, maybe like a couple of weeks, and then go back to the city and work Craigslist gigs and stuff like that. And you can always check and see like where the gigs are all over the country, and just choose different locations and kind of just like plan your travels around that. I found that was a really cool way to make money. One thing I do want to talk about real quick is taxes, because technically all of these are 1099 or self-employed or subcontracted positions. So taxes get a little bit complicated whenever you're dealing with those situations. Unless you've owned your own business, then you might be a little lost at first, but there's a lot of really good information out there on filing taxes as a 1099 employee or subcontractor or whatever. And basically what that means is none of your taxes are withheld, so you're going to have to pay them at the end of the year. And depending on what job you're doing, you can do deductions and that kind of thing. So keep track of your mileage and what you're spending or buying for your work and blah, blah, blah. But yes, basically, if you do any of those jobs, you kind of are self-employed. So you have to keep that in mind, that you're not getting taxed, but the government knows that you're working DoorDash and WAG. The Craigslist gigs, that's a little gray area. Some report and some don't, but that's something that you guys need to do a little bit of research on your own. Let's see. So I also have done several seasonal jobs, and that's actually what I'm about to go move to Alaska and do, is a seasonal job up there. I really like seasonal jobs because you don't have to have a vehicle. I've always had a vehicle up until now, but you don't have to have a vehicle, so you can fly out and just, a lot of times they'll just pick you up from the airport, or you'll take a shuttle or whatever. And then they also give you either free or really discounted rent. Like the highest rent I've ever seen on a seasonal gig was, I want to say like $400 a month. You cannot find a shack for $400 a month right now. And then a lot of the times they'll even provide food. Like I worked in Colorado in Estes Park at the YMCA there, and they provided me with food and a place to stay, and they had a lot of really cool activities, and I made a lot of friends there that I still talk to this day, and that was 2 years ago. So as far as seasonal jobs go, really there's such a wide range of jobs available. So I've started doing zip lining. So I'm a zip line ranger, which is something I never really thought I would do. But there is, retail jobs, cruise ship jobs, adventure jobs like ATVing. You also have got ranch jobs. You can go work on a full working ranch, either in the kitchen, you can be handling the horses, you can really be doing a lot of different stuff. And then also resort jobs. So you can go work at a lodge somewhere and do housekeeping, or be a host or server or front desk or something like that. They're pretty those are pretty mundane jobs, but you can also go and be a whitewater raft guide, and a lot of the times they'll train you to do that, so you don't have to have any experience at all. You just go and do, and the tips are amazing. I have done zip lining for 2 seasons now, and I made more in tips than I ever did as a waitress. And then on top of that, they actually pay you a livable wage. So you're not getting paid $2.13 an hour plus tips like you are here if you're working in Oklahoma as a waitress, but you're actually getting paid well above minimum wage and getting tips at the end of every day. So that is one of the most lucrative jobs, is adventure jobs where you're like a tour guide. People love it, and they are willing to pay. And what's really cool too is that there's just so many different options on what you can do. And then you only have to commit usually 3 to 6 months, and you can always commit longer time, and some of them are actually shorter time, but it's really nice not to have to commit to a very long time, and then it's an easy way to travel too. One of the places I work, they even reimbursed my travel to get there. So it really just kind of depends, but also you have to keep in mind whenever you're working seasonal jobs, you're going to be out in the middle of nowhere. So it's kind of harder to get around unless everyone there has a car, and then you have to worry about where am I going to get my groceries if there's not a place nearby. Whenever I was living in Tennessee, the nearest grocery store was 30 minutes away. Thank goodness I had a car, otherwise I don't know what I would do. There was a Dollar General within walking distance, but that was about it. All right, I'm moving on. So one of my favorite things I just found out about recently is work camping, and I kind of wish I had known whenever I had the van, because I would have applied for some, but I think maybe an RV is in the future, we'll see. But work camping is really cool. I joined a Facebook group for it, so go join a Facebook group and you'll be blown away. They pay so well, and a lot of them, like not all of them, some of them are volunteer based, okay, but the ones that I've been eyeballing, they pay really well, and they will give you a free place to stay, and you get free running water. A lot of them have like personal hot showers, so you don't have to like shower in your rig, and basically you're just like running a campground. So you can have all of your pets, and yeah, it's really easy. A lot of people can even do it with kids. Like I've seen people in those groups that have 5 kids and they're running a campground and they're making like $2,000 a month, but they're not having any bills besides food and I guess gas. But where are you going? You're working in a campground. And a lot of these are in like very remote, beautiful, beautiful places like Glacier and Yellowstone. They are always hiring. South Dakota, Washington, like California. You could really work anywhere in the country, and it's really cool. They give you a place to park your rig. I think that is a real game changer, and I kind of wish I would have known about that sooner, but that's okay because that might be in the cards for me one day. One way that I learned about some of this stuff was whenever I went to the RTR, the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, in Quartzsite this last January. And on one of the last days, they had what was called the Big Tent. And I guess it's one of the biggest RV shows in the country, but they have a ton of people in there that are recruiting work campers. And so you can get a job on the spot if you go there, and plus you might as well check out the RTR because it's free, and it's like a nomad haven. Like seriously, Quartzsite in the wintertime, anytime in the wintertime, there are millions of people there. You can meet every person from all kinds of walks of life, and they're all there just doing the same thing, living out in the desert out of their rigs and having bonfires every night, and you get to connect with some really cool people. And they have like a whole like art scene, so you can like go and sell your art there too. I don't know, that was a really cool experience. But I also almost missed this, but harvesting jobs. Kind of like seasonal jobs, but a little bit different. The beet harvest every fall is a huge one. They pay very well and give you a free place to stay. And I think you work for like 3 weeks and walk away with a few $1,000s. And it's hard work, like all harvesting jobs are hard. You can go work on a pot farm. I've done that. I loved it. Would probably do it again. You can go work, on a small farm and help out like a small local farmer, go work the farmer's market for them. I even had an interview. I ended up not taking this job, but I had an interview for this girl that was making goat soap. So she wanted me to come make the soap on the farm and take it to the farmer's market every week and then sell it. And so that was actually on Craigslist too. You never really know what job you're going to run into, but there are some really cool jobs out there, and I'm someone who I want to own a small farm one day, so I love working harvest jobs and would love to do more of that. I don't have a good website to find those on, so if anyone has any good websites to find harvesting jobs or farm jobs and stuff, please link that down in the comments because I would love the link. I would love to figure that out. Let's see. Okay, so I didn't say, sorry, I'm all over the place, but I didn't say, but my seasonal jobs, I get most of my seasonal jobs off coalworks.com, but you can also use Occupation Wild, and then, what's another one? Oh, seasonworkers.com. I've never used that one, but figured I'd throw that out there. And then one of my jobs I had just gotten from word of mouth from one of my other seasonal jobs. Really, like the people is a lot because they will take you places that you never knew was possible. And a lot of these ideas have come from people that I've met along the way and stuff. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so that job was found on Indeed. So they do have remote jobs on Indeed and seasonal jobs. It's a little bit harder to find them on there, but you can just search seasonal or gig work or something like that, and be able to find whatever you're looking for there. I think that is pretty much all that I have written down. I mean, of course, like, you know, you can always sell digital products and be a digital nomad and grow your following and blah, blah, blah. I've been trying to grow my following for a long time, and I'm going to tell you, it is not easy. And I have pretty much given up on making money online. So I'm doing this whole YouTube thing just to help other people realize how easy it really is to travel full time. I want to inspire people to live the same kind of lifestyle. I want to show you guys that you don't have to work 40 hours a week for a company you do not like in order to live happily and comfortably. I mean, maybe not you, but a lot of people are paying over $1,000 a month on their rent, and they work so often that they're not actually home long enough to enjoy what they're spending that amount of money on. I usually travel for $600 a month, you know, sometimes $1,000 depending on how far I'm actually driving. But I mean, you can always stay put a little bit longer. You can always work these seasonal jobs. I know of some people who work, you know, 6 months out of the year, and then the rest of the time, like, they just save up all of that money and go and travel. And so that would be a really good idea with a seasonal job, because you can just work for 6 months and then take 6 months off, work 6 months, take 6 months off. And there's also other ways that you can travel without making money, like doing volunteer-based stuff. So you can go work on Workaway is a good one. I think that's the name of it, Workaway. That is volunteer-based, but they will take you all over the world. You can volunteer to go work at hostels, and you usually only have to work like 20 hours a week, and that pays for your room and board, and the rest of your time you are free to travel. And so that's a really cool idea too, and something that I might do in the future whenever I start getting out of the country, which will happen hopefully sooner than later. But yeah, I think that is all I'm going to share with you guys today. I hope I inspired some of you guys to figure out how to make money. I'll link in the bottom my referral codes for some of the gig works I have, and you'll be able to make an extra little bit of money just off of signing up and doing whatever job it is. But yeah, all right, well, thank you guys for being here, and I guess I'll see you next time.